Welcome to Cupcakes and Clarity, the podcast for high-achieving women who want success and fulfillment without burning it all down. I'm your host, Lisa Pirinelli, and every Tuesday I'm bringing you honest conversations and practical strategies to help you create more balance, purpose, and joy in your work and your life. Think of this as a heart-to-heart with a trusted friend. Together we'll get real about the challenges you face, and you'll leave every episode feeling clear, confident, and inspired to make your next chapter your best one yet. Hi, welcome back to Cupcakes and Clarity. I'm your host, Lisa Pirinelli, and today I have a very special guest. This is Mary Okon, and she is a life wellness and human design coach. So today she's going to help explain a little bit more about coaching and from the viewpoint of human design, which is really super fun. And I just want to say welcome, Mary. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So before we get started, why don't we just I'm just going to give you a few minutes. Can you just tell everybody who you are, who you serve, and a little bit of how you got started?
Yes. As Lisa said, my name is Mary Okon. I'm a life wellness and human design coach, and I got into this because I got super burnout in corporate life, and I just wasn't taking care of myself. So with all of that, and for doing that for a very long time, I had gained a bunch of weight, had migraines every day, had chronic back pain, was going to chiropractor all the time, and was just miserable. So I knew something needed to change, and I started with work-life balance, then was eating healthier. Then the pandemic comes along, and then my husband and I move in, and I became stepmom overnight, because now you're all in the same house. And the pandemic was crazy at the time. I was like, okay, everything just felt so out of my control. And I'm like, what can I really control? And at that point, I had started gaining some of the weight back, and I'm like, no, I don't want this. So I can at least control what I eat. So I started with Noom, and they teach you calorie counting, and then they also start teaching you about the mindset part of weight loss. And I got hooked. So I read 26 books that first year, loved every bit of it. And then I was pretty much done losing weight, and I started working out at that point because Noom taught you that if you lose weight, you can lose muscle. And I didn't want to become weak. So I'm like, okay, well, what can I do? So I added a meal so I wouldn't lose any more weight and started working out. I got a cheap stationary bike to make sure I could do it before I invested in my Peloton. Absolutely love it. Love biking. I'm a Peloton outside now, but I needed that to process my stress and to move my body and process my emotions. And it was just wonderful to have. And with all of this, work became better, but then I just realized it wasn't the right fit for me. And I'm like, how do more people not know everything I've been through to, process their emotions, to become happy and healthy and live their everyday life like this? So I left corporate, started my business, and then a couple of years ago, I found human design, and my design explained everything I had done previously to become my happiest, healthiest self in my wellness journey. So I was hooked. So then I got certified in that too. And now I get to use everything I've learned. So the coaching, human design, and all my lived experience to help people become the happiest, healthiest self and thrive and achieve their goals in any area of life. So that's everything in a quick nutshell.
That's a lot. That's a lot of different areas of your life that you went out and sought out answers and, your pain points. And now you can coach others, which, is a similar story for me. Not the same necessarily pieces and parts, but just, we learned from the things that didn't work from us. And then as coaches, it's oh, wait, now this is I want to go and share it. I want to go help others. And you have all these really cool pieces and parts that you now utilize for different people. So who is it that you actually coach? Is it women, men, anybody?
I work with primarily women just because I think here's my thing. I think women are really who changes the world because we're the center of the families, we're the center of our workplace, we're the center of everything. So I think what's beautiful about it is when we change our lives, that trickles over into everyone, our husband, our kids, our work, our friends, our community. So by us making these little changes, it impacts the entire world. So primarily I work with women who are burnout or going through a transition, or they are going into a new stage of life, maybe they're going into entrepreneurship, or there are some people who are like really hard on themselves and they just need to like start being kinder to themselves and being like, okay, hold on, take the pressure off and just learn to be kinder to themselves and realize that they don't have to give in to all the societal pressures.
Wow. That sounds like most of the people I know that are women. You're like, that's just a lot of people that need help with all that, especially the part about just being so hard on themselves. I mean, I know I can be my own worst critic too. So I'm sure having that support is huge, especially if you're going through the other things that you're talking about. So, okay. So one thing I want to let everybody know is that we actually have a connection because we met in a coaching community, which is an amazing community. And Mary is now the community manager. That's the correct title, right?
We have community hosts, but same.
Okay. But she is, because she's so amazing at connecting people. She's the first person that reached out to me in the group just as like a nice connection, kind of a networking hello. And, which I really appreciated, which is so great. And now we've talked, I don't even know how many times, but we've connected a few times. And to kind of prepare for this talk today, she actually did the human design reading for me, where I just gave you my name, my birthday and my birth time and my birthplace. Like, it was pretty simple. And we ended up having a call that was an hour that I feel like was, what did you say? You said something like, this is just one grain of sand in the whole story. And I was like, holy cow, because in that 1 hour, I was getting so much information from you. And I get it was high level, but it was so validating. And so talk to me a little bit about like how that works in your coaching. Like, what's your favorite part? I mean, like, what's your favorite part about it? Or maybe like, what are some aha moments that consistently happen with people as they do this?
Right. What I love about human design is it gives you permission to be yourself, but also there's always something new. Like every time I learn more about mine or get to share something with someone about theirs, they're always like, oh, that makes so much sense. Or, oh, good. Like I'm not doing anything wrong. And also the biggest thing is like, we are not meant to make decisions from our minds. We are meant to make it from a part of our body. And between Lisa and I, we have two of the most common authorities. So your authority is how I make a decision. But once you know that and can sink into your authority, you can make way better decisions as instead of like agreeing to something, feeling pressured or people pleasing and saying yes and then being like, oh, why did I do that? What comes? And so I can teach people how to get out of those moments and give themselves the space they need. Or I even help people with scripts so they can say no to something. But I think that's a huge part. And then another part is just like knowing how to best use your energy. So knowing when something really is for you or not. So you know to lean in what really works for you and then to let go of what doesn't. And for each of us, we have a different self and non-self theme. So you can like use it. Like for me, a non-self theme is frustration. So when I know I'm frustrated, I have to pause and be like, okay, hold on, what's wrong here? Or I need to go take a break, go do something satisfying and come back. But when people start knowing this, and then the coaching comes in with integration. So human design gives the information, coaching integrates it all. And I think the best explanation I can give of like just giving a human design chart reading is like learning how to drive. That's like, it would be like if you only had one call with the driver's ed instructor, like one actual, like, okay, we get in the car, we turn it on, we go around the block. But that's like all you ever got with them. It's like, well, you're missing out on all the fun and the practice and the learning and the integrating and, oh God, don't turn left there. You have someone pointing you in a direction. So I think and it actually takes 7 years, they say, to integrate your whole human design because there's just so many different bits and pieces and how they connect together. But I use it all the time in my personal life, for my career, for everything. Even with my husband and I can look at his chart and my chart and see, and it just helps everything make more sense. Be like, okay, that's how they do things. This is how I do things. Nothing's wrong. So there's endless things we can do with this, but for the decision making is one of the biggest things I think it really does help with.
I love that. So I know recently I've had a few episodes I've created around decision making. Like, it just kind of went into that, and that overthinking on a lot of it is a big piece of it. So you touched on that, where you're not supposed to think, you're not supposed to make decisions with your head or some other part of your body you're supposed to make decisions with. So I'm sure a lot of people listening, a lot of my listeners knowing who I've attracted to this show is they're overthinkers. A lot of people are overthinkers. Not everybody. Not it's not generalizing too much, but it happens to just most everybody. At some point, when something's really serious, we try to find the answers in our head, and we're trying to be logical and responsible and all of those things. But sometimes it's something underneath. So, how do you use human design and maybe it's your coaching to like really help someone get out of that head, the overthinking, using their head for it? It almost sounds funny, like don't use your head to think. Sounds counterproductive from what we normally do. So how do you really help somebody understand that piece of it?
Right. So when we look at their chart, it will tell us what kind of authority they are. So for me, I'm an emotional authority, and for you, you're a sacral or gut authority. So that actually makes up about 80% of the population or more. So those are the two we'll talk about here, because it covers most people. But there are a few other types too. So if anyone has something different, we can dig in. Like if something doesn't make sense here, I can help. But so with my emotional authority, what it is I'm not meant to make decisions in the moment. I need to feel into the high emotions of it, and I need to feel into the low emotions. And then I finally come to like a common ground, like a calm, like I'm no longer emotionally charged. And then I make a great decision. And it's at least normally 24 hours. So little things, obviously we can make decisions, no problem. But when it's a bigger decision, we need to feel into it. And what I've also learned is, for me, if it's something I'm unsure about, if it keeps coming up like days in a row and I'm like, oh, okay, this sounds all right. Or if I'm like, I always have a hesitation, that hesitation means no, for sure don't do it. Because as long as I've been learning this, there's times when I'm hesitating and do it, and then it's painful to get out of whatever it is. And then you have a gut or sacral authority, and that's like in the moment you check in with your gut. Is it a yes or a no? And normally it's like a leaning in with your body or a pushing back or just like a knowing. And you're like, yeah or no. But it's that instantaneous. So what I help people with for this, if it's like the gut authority and sacral authority like you, I help you sink into your yes or no. And if you're very out of tune with your body, we start with little things. And we start with yes, no questions. And even like you can ask yourself throughout the day, like, do I want a ham sandwich or turkey sandwich? Like you'll know right away. Or is it for me or not? You'll get the immediate yes or no. And it can be, we start with little things. So then you get more in tune with your gut, and then you can use it with bigger and bigger things. But I bet anyone on here listening, if they know they haven't listened and regret a decision later, they probably know they didn't actually listen to their gut. And then with emotional authority, I help people give themselves time, because we're not meant to make decisions in the moment. Like, it's helpful when they know this about themselves so they can either tell their partner or their boss, or just know that about themselves. So they automatically be like, can I get back to you later this week? Or can I get back to you tomorrow? And give themselves the space and time they need to really think about it. Because like, I even know at my last job, my boss and I had a joke that I needed 24 hours to come around to things. I didn't know anything about my human design then, but it was. He'd spring something on me and be in my head, I'm like, no, you can't do this. No, this one makes sense. Well, the next day I would like to come back with, okay, we got this, because I could look at all the problems that were going to come up, look at everything, make sure I wasn't going to put extra pressure on my staff, make sure it worked for them, make sure the client was happy, make sure I could do it all, and then I could go back. But I needed that time to come around to all of it. So I just help people know how they make decisions, and then how they can start working with it, and then supporting them in case they make the wrong decision. But as they're learning, I can help them get out of it.
Okay, I would say, yeah, because I'm assuming in the beginning, especially in the beginning, there's going to be a lot of falling back on old patterns and making maybe like the quote unquote wrong decision, and then it's like, wait, how do I fix that? So that I'm sure that's where coaching comes in, right? Instead of beating yourself up, it's like, this is a learning process. You've had X amount of years doing it the other way. It's not going to be perfect from day one. What I'm curious, because so like, since we're different, you're emotional and I'm gut, or what? And what is this called again? What's
Your
our
authority.
authority? Thank you. Our authority. Since you're a person who needs time to make a decision, or maybe for you, or is this common that people with that make decisions quickly? Like, what I like, if I settle in and use my authority, I should make gut checks quick. But I don't, or I haven't in the past. Is that is that kind of like common that someone who should, I don't know if that's the correct word, but if that's their strength, But if they're not doing it, it's because they're taking too long, because then they're trying to use their head. Is that common?
That is more, I think, of second guessing yourself.
Oh,
Because if you listen to your gut and follow through, but otherwise, like if you get in your head and you start rationalizing and be like, oh, this is a logical way to do it, or this makes sense, or oh, I should have to do this. If you're shut in your head, that's a no for anyone. So I think it's learning to trust yourself. So it is the practice you were just talking about with coaching of like, oh, my gut says yes or no. If it says no, I listen to it. And the thing is, you don't need an explanation. I think that's something too when we're people pleasers. We think we need explanations, and I think this is kind of forced on women a lot, is we're not supposed to say no, and we have to have a reason and blah, blah, blah. No, we listen to our bodies, we listen to our yes or no, and we say that and we move on. And this is where I help people with scripts for, like, time to get out. Like, if someone's emotional authority, I say, "Okay, can I have till tomorrow?" Or, "I'll get back to you." Or even with people who are just huge people pleasers, it's anything in the moment to get them out of answering in the moment. So even if you were a gut authority and you're used to being a people pleaser, unfortunately conditioning has set in and you like try to people please. So I help them come up with things like, oh, I have to check my calendar. Like it's specific to each person, what works for them and is natural, but basically allows them to get out of the situation, get in their own space, their own energy, and then go back and answer accordingly as they need to.
that's really powerful because as a recovering people pleaser, it is still hard sometimes because it was, something that I did for so long and didn't realize I was even doing that. I wouldn't have known I was a people pleaser at the time. So like, you're like, hello, I'm Lisa. I'm a people pleaser early on. That's who you are. But yeah, I think when I really started to learn about that, and which is interesting now that I know from you that I am a quick yes, no. Like if I check in with my gut, I will know. It is easier for me but it started with what you talked first because I didn't know this information about myself until we just talked, but about the whole that's what my body is or my human design is telling me. But even when I first started like learning about people pleasing and like how to be more in control of my answers and what I really want, it really did make more sense to just take that, may have those scripts that you're talking about. Like, let me check my calendar. Let me think about that. Let me get back to you. Because those are really easy and polite and realistic responses. There's nothing weird about those responses. Like, you should check your calendar. Most people have so much going on. So that's normal. But even if you're like, well, you could check your calendar now, your phone's right in front of you. It's like, yeah, well, we have a family or you have other people you need to check in with or whatever. So I love that you work with people to have that script. That's amazing. What do you find with your clients that is like maybe one of their biggest resistance points when they're learning this? Like, what is it? Like, is there one or is there something that they maybe just don't understand? Like at first your body is going to fight it a little bit.
I think one, people are just super surprised we can know so much because all you give me is your birth date, place, and time, and it's like spot on. And people are like, "How in the world do you know this?" So it's worth acknowledging that because it is pretty true, and it's like, "Oh, okay." If people are ever resistant, it's like, "Oh, isn't this true for everyone?" And it's like, "No, it just sounds so true for everyone because you're pretty in alignment." So then it's like they think we all think everyone's like us, right? Which is not the truth. Or if something just doesn't make sense to them, it's probably that they're super conditioned and way out of alignment with it. That would be a very hard jump, not hard, but far jump from what they're doing to where they need to be. But it's just that like crack and like, okay, let's open it up. Like, why don't you try exploring this or playing with this? Or sometimes just the wording of things makes a huge difference. Some of the human design terms are funny. Like they I don't know. I don't think they match what they say. So I try to say things in very practical ways, but also it's like we all need to hear some things from different people in different ways. So the fun thing with my human design is I have multiple coaches, like one I work with personally, one I've got certified with. I've learned so much. I'm in human design communities too, so I can learn from all the people in there, but I take all of that and get to help people with it. So sometimes it's just phrasing things a different way to get their brain on board of like, oh, okay, or but the biggest thing it can do is give people something new to try. So they can start working with it. And like I said, human design, 7 years. We know all change takes time to integrate, but it just gives them something to at least play with if life is feeling off.
It's really powerful. I actually really love that because not everybody let me think of another, like when you're exercising, when you're starting to exercise, I was listening to a podcast earlier today about how people set their New Year's resolution. And by the second Friday, it's called like Quitter's Friday or something. I actually had never heard of that. I'm not a big New Year's resolution kind of person. So maybe that's why, but I understand the concept. And so you already are quitting because either you've learned that like it didn't really matter as much as you thought it did. It doesn't fit your life. You didn't do the math to make sure you actually had time to do those things, or the like shiny object kind of thing kind of went away. Like it's not really that fun. This is one of those things like I love that they have this tool so people can say, okay, I know things feel off, but just making a diet, making an exercise routine, like there's all those things have value with having that plan, but this adds like that element of the deeper of like, who are you at your core so that you can make a plan very specifically based on the things about you that are unique, or like, I think you used the word shadows, like your shadows, things that maybe are not your strengths. Is that what a shadow is something that's not your strength?
Yeah, it's like it's the when you're not in your gift, the shadow will show up, and then the shadow fills up. That's when you know you're not in alignment. So it's just there to kind of be like the bumper of like, okay, this is not me. But something you just said, something human design is great at it can tell us whether we're a specific or non-specific manifester. So this goes back to the goals and the New Year's resolutions, because manifestation is just achieving your goals, creating what you want in life, all that. So if someone doesn't like the word manifestation, don't worry. Replace it with goal, whatever you want. But within this is like people are either specific or non-specific. So specific manifestors need every little step planned out, and they need to get very specific about what they're doing, how they're doing it, and like what their end goal is. That is perfect for them. You're that type of manifestor. Every little detail outlined, wonderful, brilliant. Now I'm a non-specific manifestor, so I'm the opposite. So if someone wants me to have every little detail, I shut down. I'm like, no, I just do things. Like it just happens. So with me, I sink into how I want to feel. So, and then I let things flow as I go. So if we're looking at from a house example, someone who's a specific manifestor, if you're going to buy a house, you're going to look at it as, okay, I want a 1,800 square foot house on a half acre in this neighborhood for this price. And I want granite countertops and two bathrooms and a finished basement. So very specific. And you're only going to list the things that you absolutely want in a house. The things you're either way on, don't put that in your list. Be specific. That's how you manifest. Now, a non-specific person like me, I want to feel a certain way in the house. So I want it to feel like open, airy, warm, cozy. And then I list like the minimum things in the house. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, on at least a quarter acre in this town or one of these 3 towns. And then from there, once you find the house doesn't meet the criteria, then you like go to the house and feel it out and feel if it's going to work and has all the qualities you like. But you can imagine these are 2 very different ways to achieve our goals. So if like you've been in the corporate world and they are like talking SMART goals and you just shut down every time, it's probably because you're a non-specific manifestor. Or if you're a specific manifestor and someone's like, oh, you just do it, like go. And that drives you nuts because you're like, no, I need to know the plan. I need to know what's going on. I need to know how we get there. So it's just good to know because we aren't all meant to do things the same way. And I think that's in the huge picture of things. I think that's what's beautiful about human design is we aren't all meant to do things like the same way, but we're all taught the same way in the same school system and the same this. So human design allows you to actually really work with yourself. So life isn't so stressful and frustrating and doesn't bog you down. And you can just work with yourself to create what you want.
It sounds like it's an amazing awareness tool. Would you use that? Yeah, I was like, it seems like it's just an incredible awareness tool to understand who you are, how you function best, and then to like with your example at work. So say, they don't give you SMART goals and you're asked to do this project, what are you, you're like, well, now what I'm supposed to do? Well, you know this about yourself, so you can either create your own plan or work with others, but you advocate for yourself because now you're aware of what you need and it's more clear on what you need, and it's easier to ask for what you need or to go and implement something to support yourself. It's just an amazing tool. So since I would think of it as an awareness tool, but it does feel very different. So how is this different than like personality tests or just, different kind, like there's the Enneagram, there's the working genius, there's DISC, there's all these different things. They all have their, their thing that they really are helpful with, but how would you say this one's different?
I think human design is different because it's not based on a whole bunch of questions that you can answer differently depending on your mood each day. This is straightly from your birth date, place, and time. So it's just automatically there. It does not change. So it tells so much about your life. But I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's the fact of it doesn't change on your mood, on this or that, or what's going on. And that's what I love about it too, is there's no difference. It's the same every day, and it's just learning to align more with your design.
So someone was listening today and they were like interested, but they're also like, this sounds really woo woo. Like, Lisa, why are you bringing this woo woo stuff on your show? What would you say to that person?
So what's funny about this is I don't consider myself woo at all. And I don't even read my horoscope every day. Not into any of that stuff. But when I found human design and it perfectly explained everything I had done, I'm like, there's no way this isn't true. And I think the difference is who you work with. I'm a very practical, like, here's how we apply this to your real life. Like today I'm using some human design terms, but with clients, I normally don't unless they already have a background in it. It's like, well, why don't we try this? What about this? Or remember this about yourself? Or why don't we try this? How about, so it gives me, and it lets me be a better coach for them because I know how they operate at their best. So I can show up in a way that they need. Like me knowing if they're a SMART goal person or not makes a difference in how I coach them. I'm like, okay, I know you need a plan, so let's do every little step. Or, oh no, let's just get started and let's get rid of all the little steps that are bogging you down. But I think that's it. If you're open to it at all, like reach out. Have a special promo code to give Lisa so we get a discount so you can come do your reading. So fun. And just like, I'm super laid back, super chill. What you hear and see here, if you see this, I don't know. But if you hear here, this is what you get with me. So I will keep it real. I'm so kind and fun. And it just, why not explore it? Especially if you're feeling stuck or if some of the other leadership things, or not leadership, but like the test. The personality tests. Like if they're not fitting right, like come explore. You don't like, I'm big on at least trying things. And like I'm a big take what works for you, leave what doesn't. So some people love it, some people don't. I think it's great. So, and I think it benefits my clients so much, and my brain naturally thinks of human design when I think of things. So it's just part of what I do now, but why not give it a try? Same with coaching. Like you've got nothing to lose.
Yes. Well, when we are both big proponents of coaching, not only because we love to coach, but because we believe in it because we were coached and we're in a coaching community where we get coached by an amazing coach. So, and we're surrounded by other amazing coaches. It's just such a great and warm and loving community. So you have shared so many cool things about this today. I want to let everybody know one other really cool thing before we're going to get to the cupcake moment. I want to ask your cupcake moment, but for those that know how much I love the show Friends, it's like my white noise. It's like my whoopee. It's like my comfort when I am cooking. It's my white noise. I've seen it so many times, right? Like it's my thing. I can quote almost anything in life to an episode of Friends. And when I saw Mary's marketing on her website, and one day we were actually video chatting, she had this on, she turned the word coach into the same like logo as Friends. And I was like, okay, you're my people. You're my people. I was like, in another part, you're like, dang it, why didn't I think of that? It's amazing. I love that. It's so cute. So thank you for just being another Friends person. You're my people. I love that. And now I want to also ask, so every episode we share a cupcake moment, and it's just a moment in life from everyday life where you found joy or connection or clarity. So what lately has been your cupcake moment?
I think I have two fun things to share. One, we just need to slow down and have some fun with life. So earlier this week when I was meeting with a client, we meet in person and she was like closing up. She was working before I got there. So she was like closing up her computer and doing this and that. But the coffee shop we were in was playing super fun music. So I was like dancing in my chair and I'm like, okay, you get your stuff done. I'll bring the vibe to get everything going well. Because we call power hour because we set her whole week up for success. But I'm like, it's that. It's like, you know what? Life is too short not to have a bit of fun. Coaching and human design, sometimes we get into some tough things, but that doesn't mean we can't have fun in the process. So dance in your kitchen, dance in your car, sing. Even if you're a horrible singer, sing. Do fun things like that. And then also, like, I love doing things for my family and clients and all that. But like just yesterday, my husband had really wanted Culver's custard. It's a local, like, Wisconsin custard place. But I went and got him the pints and brought him home. And I'm like, it's little stuff like that that makes me love my life so much. And even just taking my little dog outside and us getting to sit there for 5-10 minutes and just be out in nature. Anything like that where we can slow down in our lives and do the little things that just make our hearts so happy. And I think we forget to do that so often. I didn't do any, like, of course I did nice, wonderful things for my family, but now I can do them to a new level that I'm not burnt out all the time, that I'm not exhausted, that I have this business that I love so much that affords me the freedom and space that I want. But we can all do that in our lives all the time. We can create the little moments for ourselves and make our hearts happy. And the more we can do it, the better.
That's powerful. I love it. And we have Culver's here, luckily, here in Indiana too. So I know it's not based here, but I actually just took my daughter there 2 nights ago and it was really fun. And just, like if you get marshmallow cream and peanut butter mixed together, amazing. And is that your favorite food? Peanut butter? I think
peanut butter is my favorite food.
So it was amazing. It was really, really good. Mary, thank you so much for being on the show today. This was so much fun. I could have you on a million more times. We could just keep chatting forever. And if anybody does want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Yes. It's Mary Okon Coaching, and Okon is Okon. And I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, and pretty soon I'll be starting a YouTube channel, I decided. So super fun. And MaryOkonCoaching.com.
That's amazing. Congratulations. I will definitely subscribe. You will also be on YouTube on my page because I will put this video on there. So yes, people will get to see your face and it'll be amazing. And I will put all that in the show notes, as well as you said you had a coupon code you're going to give. What is the coupon code for?
The coupon code is going to be Lisa99, and it's to give you my human design reading, which is normally $150 for $99. So that way we can dig into all the basics of your human design chart, and you can tell me something that's going on in your life that you would really love some insight in, so you can take it and apply it to your life right away.
Oh my gosh, that is so much fun. Okay, if anybody does this, you need to reach out to me and let me know what your big takeaway was, and also let me know how amazing Mary is, because I know she's amazing. Okay, Mary, thank you so much, and hopefully you will come back on our show sometime and share more, because you're just a light, and I just love it. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Cupcakes and Clarity. If today's conversation inspired you and you'd like even more tips and strategies tailored to your life, go to lisapirinelli.com/resources for more self-guided tools. And if you're ready for personal support to help you navigate what's holding you back, I'd love to meet you. Head over to lisapirinelli.com to schedule your free consultation call. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you enjoyed today's episode, it would mean so much if you shared it with a friend or leave a quick review. Until next time, here's to creating more clarity, confidence, and joy in your life, one cupcake at a time.